Hello and welcome to the Casual Gamer Show. I am the Casual Gamer and this is my show. Today we're going to talk about a game I've been playing for a long time, since I was like 6 or 7. And that game is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. That's got a K to A rating. That's kid to adult for those of you who don't know, because that rating's not around anymore. I like to go ahead and talk about a little bit what this game got to offer. It's got a crocodile that's also a crook. It's got a puppet that comes to life through possession of a spirit. It's got a guy that's a bow, like a bow that shoots arrows, and he does in fact shoot arrows. It's got enemies that use pogo sticks as weapons. All kinds of crazy Squaresoft characters they come up with. Characters that Squaresoft still has the copyright to, which is why we never saw a true sequel for this game, but eventually we did get Paper Mario, and it's got a drunken queen and a big old bird, all kinds of crazy stuff.
And a marshmallow throws lightning.
Yeah, it's got that too. But anyway, that's enough about that. Let's talk about the story of the game. In this game, starts off Princess Toadstool. She's picking flowers, hanging outside the pipe house. Mario's there hanging out inside the pipe house. Bowser comes swooping down in his clownocopter. He scoops up the princess off of Mario's front lawn, and that looks bad on Mario. So you go off to Bowser's Keep, and you go through Bowser's Keep, and you're fighting Bowser, and it's not really working. And Princess is all, "Go for the chain, Mario, hit the chain!" So you jump on the chain, and then Bowser falls to his death. The castle starts to rumbling, and a giant sword comes crashing in, sends everyone flying off in opposite direction, and at this point in time we have no idea where Bowser and Toadstool are. There's a giant sword in Bowser's Keep now, so Mario goes to see if he can reason with it. Turns out the sword's not much for reasoning. He's not very friendly towards Mario, and he starts to flap in his jaw, literally, very fast. And that destroys the bridge to Bowser's Keep, and Mario's like, well, I can't jump that far, so he turns around and goes back to his house. Then you go talk to Toad, and he's like, how are we gonna get to Bowser's Keep? Let's go to Mushroom Kingdom. And y'all head towards Mushroom Kingdom. After you go through Mushroom Way, and once you get to Mushroom Kingdom, there's some stuff that you can do there. After you've talked to the Chancellor, though, you go downstairs, you get your presents from the basement. He's got some presents for you. But then you go up to the princess's room, and this happens. Well, whatever that was Mario found, Toadstool's grandmother didn't like you finding it. After that, you run into Mallow, and he's like, I'm sorry I'm crying and making it rain, but that crocodile stole my coin. So Mario's all, well, I guess I'll help you get your coin back from Croco. So they go to Bandit Way, and Croco's all taunting them, and they're chasing them around until eventually it ends up a big game of hide and seek with Croco. After you've defeated Croco, you head back to Mushroom Kingdom, and you meet the first members of the Smithy game you're gonna meet. Bunch of strange people on pogo sticks. After all that's said and done, you get to play a little game with the Chancellor.
Ah, sweet! Check it out, you guys. You don't even have to put a quarter in her.
After that, you go to Crow Sewers. You face a bunch of rats, ghosts, and fish. You fight Bloom. You go down the Midas River, collect some frog coins and some flowers. After all that, you go to Tadpole Pond and you see Frogfucius, and Frogfucius is like, well, Mallow, you're not a tadpole. And Mallow's like, how can I not be a tadpole? Mario's like, you crazy, you thought you was a tadpole. You go to Rose Way and you do some stuff, make it through Rose Way, and this is the first time we see Bowser again. And we find out he has not been at his castle for some time. And then they go to Rose Town, and in Rose Town you find people are being shot with arrows and it causes them to freeze. But not everybody is frozen. There's an innkeeper there, and she's not frozen, and she has a son, and her son's name is Gaz. And Gaz wants to play Save the World with Mario. Gaz thinks Mario is a little bitch, so his version of Save the World involves Geno being the hero instead of Mario, and Mario ends up getting knocked out by the Geno doll. While Mario's knocked out, the doll comes to life through a spiritual possession.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Karas, you faithless swine.
You find him in the woods, you run into a guy who has a bow, who shoots arrows. Upon Bowyer's defeat, you find you have two ways that you can go. You can go to the Pipe Vault, and the Pipe Vault doesn't really have anything to do with the game except for getting to Yoster Island, but you can beat the game without getting to Yoster Island. And you can go to Moleville, and in Moleville you find moles. We also find Bowser again, who he's not doing so well at this point. And then we find out that some of the moles are trapped in the mine, and these moles are children. So Mario, being the hero that he is, he agrees to go into the mine and save the children. And you'll find this unexplained trampoline, and you'll think, hey, maybe it'll take me somewhere. So Mario jumps onto trampoline, and it takes you somewhere, which is nowhere at all. You knock yourself out, fall on the floor, and you wake up to Croco stealing your coins. Isn't that great? Croco's back. And big shocker, you chase Croco down, and he's like, if you want your stuff back, you gotta fight me. So you fight him. You just keep on keeping on, going through the tunnels. You know, after you beat Croco, you get a bomb, and you take that bomb to Papa Mole, and he's hanging out in the back. And he's like, with this bomb, I could blow up this wall. And he blows up the wall. Crazy. After that, you go back there. He wants to follow you back there, but Mario's like, bitch, please. You couldn't help anybody. And Papa Mole's like, that's true, Mario, I am kind of a piece of shit. So, Papa Mole returns home and lets Mario go about his business. You'll find a star back there. You know, take out everything you can using the star. You keep going, you find a flower hidden somewhere in there. Keep going. You run into Punchinello. After you fight Punchinello, you keep going and you get to the back of the mine and you find the children there. Not sure why Mario didn't read the safety instructions, but I bet Mario knows a thing or two about driving the minecart. We should just be glad the children are alive. Eventually, the track for the minecart ends, and you end up crashing through the roof of Ma and Pa Mole. And Pa Mole's like, it's okay, Mario, I may be a piece of shit, but I can fix the roof. And Mario's like, you better fix the roof. I got things to do. So Mario runs into some Sniffets, and they're like, we're trying to collect these beetles for our boss, Booster. So you take a quick little jog through Booster's Pass, and you get to Booster's Tower, and at Booster's Tower you find Bowser, outside crying like a bitch. So, after that, they find out that Toadstool's at the top of the tower, crying like a little bitch. Then Mario tries to open the door, but he can't do it, and then Bowser comes back, and he's like, I can open that door, no problem. So Bowser opens the door, and you guys join forces to climb the tower. You face a bunch of Sniffets, and you deal with Booster, who behaves like a large child. This also happens while you're in Booster's Tower. You fail at saving the princess. After you fight Booster's clown posse, you follow him to Booster Hill and you chase him up the hill because he's carrying Princess Toadstool on his back. After a brisk cardiac workout, you arrive in Marrymore, where the Sniffets and Booster are holding up in the church. Lucky for Mario, the Sniffets aren't too bright, so they forget to lock the back door and tell them they forgot to lock the back door. And Mario gets in. After that, some doors get broken down and you break into the chapel, and then you find all Princess's stuff because she dropped it because the Sniffets hit her, and you get a prize depending on how fast you pick up the stuff. You're gonna fight a cake, and Chef Torte and his apprentice, and they're gonna be like, don't fight the cake, but the cake's gonna move and they're gonna run away. You're gonna fight the cake. After you fight the cake, you take Princess Toadstool back to the Mushroom Kingdom, and she tells the Chancellor that she wants to adventure with you. But then the Chancellor is all like, "You're princess, what would people say?" And the princess goes to her room, but she sneaks back out, and she comes along with you. So now the princess is all like, "Where do we find a star at, Mario?" And Mario's like, "Well, I don't know." And then Mario's all like, "Let's ask Frogfucius, he probably knows." And Mario's like, "Yeah, let's go ask Frogfucius." And Frogfucius is like, "Well, there's a star over on Star Hill." So Mario's all like, "Come on, let's go then." You go over to Star Hill. And you talk to a bunch of flowers and get a star for doing practically nothing. So after all that chicanery, you head over to Seaside Town, and everybody's acting strange.
Anyway, how is your sex life?
And after that, you head to the sea. You find a sunken ship. You go through the sunken ship. Anyway, you're gonna fight Blooper. After you get the password to enter his little chamber, you're gonna fight Blooper. They call him King Calamari in this game, but we know Blooper when we see him. And then you're gonna go through some more of the ship, and you're gonna find a shark. He's gonna give you a star. You're gonna go back up to Seaside Town. The elder of Seaside Town is gonna be like, "I was Yardovic all along, and I'm part of the evil Smithy gang. Give me your star." Now Jonathan Johnny Jones is your friend. And apparently he's too weak to fight right now. But you're gonna fight Yardovic. Get your star back. After that, you leave. You go Land's End. You go through Land's End. And you make it to Belome Temple. And you face Belome there. After you face Belome, you go to Monstro Town. You can talk to the elder there, and she's like, "You looking for stars? We got one upstairs." And you go and look, and the stars all dancing. And you're like, "That's cool, but it's not a star piece." You go back downstairs, and the lady's like, "Oh, star piece. I'm sorry. Let me talk to Sergeant Flutter." And she calls the Sky Troopers, and the Sky Troopers agree to help you get to Bean Valley. And in Bean Valley, you're gonna fight some piranha plants. One of them's gonna be named Smilex, and the only thing that's special about Smilex is he's a giant piranha plant. After that, you're gonna climb some vines. Climb some more vines, climb some vines. Then you get to Nimbus Land, where you find out there's a bird up there who's named Prince Mallow. Shocker. I mean, all the people look like Mallow except for the drunken queen that's hanging out there. The drunken queen and the bird, but the bird's named Prince Mallow. Go figure. You're gonna buy some more weapons, you know, the usual routine. Then you're gonna go into this house with some statues and a guy named Garo. You're gonna see a statue that looks like Mallow, and Mallow's gonna be like, "Look, Mario, it's a statue of me." You're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's a statue of you, Mallow, good job." But Garo's gonna be like, "That's not Mallow. You guys are dumb. That's King Nimbus whenever he was just a boy." Then Garo gonna be like, "Oh snap. You look like King Nimbus whenever he was just a boy. You must be Mallow. I knew that bird couldn't be Mallow." And he's gonna help you sneak into the castle. Where some things are gonna happen. Statue polishing. A cross-dressing dinosaur. A bunch of heavy troopers later. And you're facing Queen Valentina. After Queen Valentina, you get a key, and there's a tearful reunion between Mallow and King and Queen Nimbus, who just happen to be his parents.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.
And then they're like, you guys been everywhere, but you don't have all the stars. And then Queen Nimbus all like, well, I saw one fall in the volcano. They're all like, why don't you just go in the volcano, look for the star? But the Zod Dragon lived down there, so be careful. So but you know Mario, he's like, I don't care about any Zod Dragon. I'll face a Zod Dragon any day of the week. Let's go. And they jump in the volcano. You know, they walk around in the volcano, fight some fireballs, some rocks, for some reason tree stumps, rock monsters.
You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail.
And then they find a guy hanging out in the volcano, and he's like, I got these stores here. I didn't think anyone would ever come. And you rest up, buy some stuff, save, fight some more fireballs, face the Zod Dragon. The Zod Dragon falls into the lava, and then you fight a skeleton, and then you're about to get the star, and the Axum Rangers drop down and steal it from you. After they steal the star, Mario's like, those sons of a beaches! And he climbs out of the volcano, and he finds them up there waiting on their ride. And it's a good thing they were waiting, because if their ride wasn't late, you wouldn't catch them. And after that, you head back to Nimbus Land, because you don't have anything else to do. And King Queen Nimbus like, well, you found 6 of them, but they're supposed to be 7 stars. And Mario's like, I know. The last one's in Bowser's Keep. But we don't know how to get over there. So King and Queen Nimbus, they get to talking. You know, they talk it out. And then they're like, You can take the bus to get over there. And Mario's like, the bus? Well, hot damn. So you take the bus. You go to Bowser's Keep and you get to these 6 doors and you gotta do 4 of them. After you do 4 of them, you face a Magic Koopa, and then he turns back to normal. He's like, I'm sorry, did I attack you? I was brainwashed. And he all heals you and gives you a magic item box that you can hit as many times as you want to. Each time you hit it, it gives you 1 coin. to Bowser's Keep to use it. Anyway, after that you fight Boomer, and you beat him. Then you go up there and you fight the sword, and you fight Exor or Azor, his name is, or something. I don't know how it's pronounced exactly, but you fight him, and you find out the sword was a portal between Smithy's weapon factory and Mario's world all along. And now that we're up to Smithy, let me just talk about Smithy. Smithy is like Santa Claus. Pretty much just an evil version of Santa Claus. That's Smithy. Of course, Mario had no idea all this time he was chasing down evil Santa Claus, but you go through his weapon factory, you fight an evil clock.
There's only one way to stop a bad one.
Bunch of guys he already fought before. Fight two guys with a giant snake.
I want Snakey, please. You don't want Snakey? I want Snakey. Give me Snakey right now. Let me see him. Come on, Snakey. Snakey's here. Yeah.
And some workers. Then eventually you make it to Smithy. And you fight him. You beat his first form, then you find out he got another form. And you beat him. And then Gino turned back into a doll. Everyone lived happily ever after. The end. Go home. Game over. Pretty much. There's a few other things I wanted to touch on about this game. One of those things being the secret boss, Culex. You fight Culex. To get to him, you go through a few events where you acquire a shiny stone, and at first you think, this thing don't do anything. It's only worth 1 coin. Doesn't do anything in battle. It's worthless. I wasted my time getting this. Then you find out there's a door in Monstro Town, and you never had access to it before. But when you try to open it with the shiny stone, the shiny stone's like, this door is amazing, and it reacts. Anyway, after the stone goes all fanboy on the door, you go inside, and this guy comes down. And he's like, "My name is Culex. I'm the Dark Knight of Devonda. And I've come to challenge you, Universe's most powerful knight. Do you accept my challenge?" And Mario's like, "I'm this universe's most powerful knight, but you don't look like a challenge to me." So they fight, and he begins the fight by being like, "I am matter, I am antimatter, I can see your past, I can see your future, I consume time, and I will consume you." And he summons his little crystal buddies. Let me just say that Culex isn't one of the easiest secret bosses ever, but if you know how to beat him, he's not a hard fight. He has some really powerful moves, and each of his crystal buddies have some really powerful moves. There's 4 crystals, and each of them has their own attacks. They got attacks like Corona, Boulder, Ice Rock, and Blast. And those attacks are pretty powerful, as I'm sure you've learned by this point. Also, Culex has an attack called Dark Star, which besides Culex, only Smithy knows. And Dark Star is a very powerful attack. It does about 80 points of damage to someone wearing the Lazy Shell. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the super armors. The first one's actually a super accessory, and it's the Rare Scarf, and it just increases your defense. That's it, no additional abilities. The next item that you get would be the Lazy Shell. You get it at the same time as Mario's ultimate weapon, the Lazy Shell, and that one decreases your attack and speed and increases your defense by 50 points. But your attack and speed are also decreased by that much. But it also has additional abilities, like it guards against mortal blows, it protects against status ailments, and it protects you against elemental attacks. The next item is also an accessory, and it is the Attack Scarf. Only Mario can equip it, and it raises all of his stats by 30. But it doesn't have any additional abilities. The last one is the Super Suit, which anyone can wear, and it raises all your stats by 50. But to get that, you have to do 100 consecutive super jumps and then talk to somebody in a certain place, and then they give it to you. Which, that's just too much work, personally. I don't like to sit there and be doing super jumps all day long. But hey, if you want an armor that makes the game way too easy, Super Suit's your answer. The Attack Scarf will also make it way too easy. And that's it. Thanks for watching, thanks for sitting here and listening to my ramblings about Super Mario RPG and how great it is. I hope you enjoyed my review, because I enjoyed making it for you. Come back and see me again. Until then, keep it casual.
I'll kick your butt! Mad Nintendo.